Hello everyone. What I wanted to share in this video today was my three favorite ETF picks for the future. How much money would you have made had you invested in them 5 years ago already? What my personal investment plan towards investing in these ETFs in the future is. And there are timestamps at the bottom of the video, so if you would like to skip to a certain part, please feel free to do so. My name is Omar, and on my channel, I share with you my insights into personal finance, parenthood, and challenges related to life in general. None of what I say is meant to be financial advice and is for education and entertainment purposes only. So before we dig into the exciting part of what my three favorite ETFs are, I guess let's just establish the baseline first. Now, most of you will be aware what an ETF means, but just in case you're not, an ETF means exchange traded fund. So as opposed to a single stock where you might invest in one company, an ETF allows you a broad exposure against a lot of different companies. And some ETFs have hundreds or even thousands of companies underneath them. What's the advantage? The advantage is diversification of risk. I mean, if you are invested in hundreds and thousands of companies at the same time, the chances that all of them will perform badly at the same time in the same year are actually pretty low, as opposed to investing in a single stock. So it allows you to diversify your risk into multiple companies, and therefore you can ride on the rising wave of any given trend, etc. It's sort of like having, I don't know, 4 to 5 fruits in your refrigerator drawer. If one of them turns bad, you still have four and you can rely upon them and eat them and have a good day. That's basically an ETF. Now, my three favorite ETF picks. My first ETF pick is called Invesco Solar ETF. Had you invested $10,000 in Invesco Solar ETF 4 or 5 years ago, your money would already be worth $30,000. That's 3x. That's a phenomenal return. And what are the kind of companies that make up Invesco Solar ETF? Well, companies like First Solar and Phase, and there are a lot of other different companies that make up First Solar ETF. Solar has been on an absolute tear over the last 5 years. I mean, only 15% of the world's energy today is made up of sustainable sources. And as the world is trying to become more and more sustainable, it actually doesn't have a choice and is trying to move away from sort of hydrocarbon and fossil fuels, etc. We have to change that 15% to a much, much bigger number. Therefore, I think the trend of moving into sustainable sources of energy, First Solar kind of companies, and these kind of ETFs will only rise in the future because the world doesn't have a choice other than to rely upon solar energy and other more sustainable forms of energy. So this is the reason why it's one of my favorites. My second favorite is an ETF called Proshares Ultra Technology ETF. Had you invested $10,000 in Proshares Ultra Technology ETF 5 years ago, your investment would already be worth $34,000 to $35,000. That is a 3.5x return. Again, absolutely phenomenal. Now, what makes up the Proshares Ultra Technology ETF? Companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, i.e. Alphabet, even companies like Tesla, etc., they make up the Proshares Ultra Technology ETF. Now, these companies are very broad in nature. They have a lot of hardware, software services, and a lot of resource and skill and manpower and network and connections at their disposal. Hence, they've been consistently growing over the last 5-10 years. I think Apple and Microsoft sort of market caps have doubled or tripled in the last 5-10 years alone. So absolute growth giants. And I see this trend again continuing because whatever new narrative of technology will come out, these companies have the capability to adapt to that narrative and attach themselves to it. So whether it's AI, which is the new narrative, or anything else, Microsoft, Apple, Google kind of companies always have enough skills to be able to expose. And they have so much scale in the market already that they can acquire market shares pretty easily in comparison to the smaller players. So I absolutely think that ProShares Ultra Technology ETF is again another one to watch out for in the future and will probably perform quite well in my personal view. Now, the last ETF, my absolute favorite, is called ProShares Ultra Semiconductor ETF. Again, semiconductors have been on a tear. Had you invested $10,000 in ProShares Ultra Semiconductor ETF 5 years ago, your investment would be worth very, very close to $50,000 today. So that's a 5x return in 5 years. And I do not see the rise or the continued good performance of this ETF coming down, subject to market turbulence, anytime soon. The reason is very simple. Semiconductors are the blood and essence of a lot of electronic devices. We see them all around us, and we've been seeing them a lot more without even realizing. The semiconductor sales over the last 5 years have doubled to $600 billion, which is an absolutely massive number considering that only 15 years ago they were standing at a couple of $1 billion. So really, really good ramp up on the shares of semiconductors and also the sales of semiconductors. Now there are companies like Nvidia, Broadcom, AMD devices, which make up majority of these ETFs. And these companies have been growing phenomenally because of their increased sales. I mean, whether it's an electric car or whether it's computer devices or laptops or gaming consoles, they need semiconductors, and they need more and more semiconductors. Now that we are trying to increase their processing power, we try to increase their graphic capacity and so many different variables, they need more and more power through semiconductors. I think one hybrid car alone takes sort of 400 to 500 semiconductors or so. So I see the trend again rising. Had you invested 5 years ago, it would already be worth 50,000, and I see that this trend will continue, and we will continue to see the rise in this. Now, what is my personal plan towards investing in these ETFs in the future? So personally, I was an investor in all or most of these, actually all of these, or some variant of these, but I took my money out because I needed it for something else a year or so ago. I'm going to wait till I see a clear indication that the interest rates have stopped rising. Once the interest rate cycle is over, with the interest rates and there's some liquidity that starts to return to the market, I think these three ETFs will probably be my primary target investing in the future. But I do not intend to start investing huge amounts of money straight away. I rather lose a 2% gain than actually lose my money. So what I will probably end up doing is that once I've seen stability in the economy and the fact that the interest rates have stopped rising, I will start to invest small amounts of money over a certain period of time by DCAing, which is called the dollar cost average. Take a small amount every month and invest it over a 1 year cycle or something like that. So that is going to be my personal investment strategy towards investing in these ETFs. But they are an absolutely phenomenal tool, particularly for people like us who do not have the time and do not have, actually in some cases, the know-how and the knowledge to invest and interrogate each individual company and their prices and their future potential and growth and understand their cash flows like Warren Buffett does, and therefore doesn't like ETFs. But for laymen like us, it is a pretty good tool to be able to have exposure to the rising trends in the market. If your personal view is any different to mine, and if you would like to advise on any other ETFs that you're interested in, please share a comment below and like, subscribe, share. And for more videos like this, please keep following the channel. Thank you.